Hey guys, JakeMom45 here, and I'm gonna bring my Naruto chapter 533 review. So let's get started. First of all, I have to say the title of this should just be like Choji's development, because basically it's just Choji's character development rises up. Even though it took forever, but it happened in this chapter. So anyways, in the beginning, Asuma's ready to use his like wind style jet technique. You know, and Choji still like puzzled that he can't punch Asuma, and then like Asuma had kicked him, and then he was using, and Asuma was gonna use the technique, but then Ino moved Choji out the way, and then hit one of the Kakuzu's lightning creatures, and then Tenten's like, all right, yeah, we took out one of the lightning creatures, and then she picks up the banana fan and says it's an interesting weapon. I've been thinking that Tenten's gonna have like an epic fight after all this, because honestly we've been seeing nothing but like panels or something of Tenten throughout all a few recent chapters. So it should be, because honestly she's one of those characters that needs like that battle, like that one fight that just defines her as a character. Because honestly we know nothing about Tenten, especially in Shippuden. And then afterwards, Shikamaru, even Asuma saying, "Come on, Choji, you have to man up." And Asuma, because when Choji's called fat, he gets angry, so he calls him fat, like a fat. Yeah, he calls him fat, and then he charges in, and he still can't punch him. He still can't, because he still thinks of him as his sensei. And then afterwards, Asuma's like attacking him with like a kunai battle, and then Shikamaru's just yeah, and then Ino does the mind transfer to fight for Choji, so that because he will defend himself, because he can't fight his master, which is, I mean, it's just overall, no, it's just boring. Anyways, and after that, he uses his, like, Asuma uses his fire style jutsu. Choji's dad then appears out of nowhere and blocks the attack for Choji. And then basically everybody just saying, Choji, man up. And then, oh yeah, and also we learned from Shikamaru had like a flashback of what Asuma told him who was the king, and tells him basically it's the unborn children that aren't born yet, and basically they will carry on the legacy. And then Asuma explains that Kurenai's baby, I mean their child, that's his king, and that he wanted to protect him, but he died. So he said to Shikamaru to protect him and look after him. And then we see a panel with Kurenai and his son apparently being birthed. I thought it was, I guess, pretty cool, because we finally find out who the king was that Asuma was referring to. And then afterwards, Choji begins to like doubt himself, and then he has like the flashback, and this is when we learn more about the Akamichi, the Ino's clan, and the Nara clan, and we learn how they're like these three like powerful clans, but then hiddenly, and they all like work together, have a strong relationship with one another. And during this time, Choji's like a little kid, and says that Choji that he'll be the next like leader of the generation, the Akamichi, and tells them about the like the importance of the earrings that shows the passage to like manhood. And basically, ever since then, Choji didn't really think of all the rituals and stuff of the Akamichi clan. It was just boring. But actually, um, it was a way to build him up as a character, and he thinks about it now, and he's like, oh man, I need to have more confidence within myself. And then he tells himself that he needs to change himself by his own, do his own work. And that's when the whole butterfly, trilogy, we all remember when he fought Jirobo, comes out. And then he doesn't use the pills, which is interesting. And basically everybody's like, get out of boy, Joji, yeah. And then Joji's about to like attack Asuma. Um, I read some reviews of this chapter, and I have to say I agree. I mean, it wasn't like, it was just basically Joji's character development, and that was basically it. It was like we expected Joji to do the butterfly transformation, we just didn't know when. So that was very surprised, and it looked the same. It wasn't like any difference. Like since he got older, it would change a little bit. Like say he had like I don't know antennas or something that made him different. But we'll see next week probably if he knows new moves and whatnot. Because honestly, if Kishimoto makes it that like last time, like if it's like he uses one punch, uses all his chakra, it's gonna be just a boring fight. Because honestly, these fights in the war have been getting really boring. Um, there's no fight that's like wow, and then like that fight was great. All the other fights have been just you know plain balls. Beeline is winning. But overall, I guess it's a good chapter since we see character development with Choji, and and that's pretty much it. So this has been my Naruto chapter 533 review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, comment, rate, especially subscribe. If future to comment about like what do you think 1010's gonna do with Banana Fan, and what do you think Choji will learn some new moves within in new butterfly form since he didn't take the pills, and then I'm thinking he won't have a backlash. Maybe he might. Well, probably because he used pills. Well, anyways, comment about that. See if there's any backlash within the jutsu. So this is Jake Bomb 45. I'm out. Peace.